Welcome to Discovering the Earth. Imagine planning your dream vacation, only to find out that your UK passport won't grant you entry. Surprising, isn't it? In today's video, we're uncovering the top 10 countries where UK citizens are either restricted or outright banned from entering. Understanding the reasons behind these restrictions can provide valuable insights into global politics and safety concerns. Stay tuned to discover which countries are on the list and why. You won't believe number 1. Country number 1, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia may surprise you. While it's generally safe, certain areas are off limits due to terrorism and civil unrest. Additionally, strict laws and cultural differences can pose challenges for UK visitors. The UK Foreign Office advises against all travel to specific areas in Saudi Arabia due to the threat of terrorism and civil unrest. While the majority of the country is generally safe, certain regions, particularly near the borders, pose significant risks. Saudi Arabia's strict laws and cultural differences can also present challenges for UK citizens. Understanding and adhering to these regulations is essential for a safe visit. Despite these challenges, Saudi Arabia remains a fascinating destination, offering a unique blend of modernity and tradition. However, travelers must be cautious and well-informed. Country number 2, Somalia. Somalia is synonymous with piracy, terrorism, and lawlessness. The UK government advises against all travel due to the high threat of kidnapping and violence. The lack of a central government and the presence of militant groups create an environment of constant danger. Somalia's long-standing issues with piracy and terrorism make it one of the most dangerous places for UK citizens. The UK Foreign Office advises against all travel to Somalia due to the high threat of kidnapping, terrorism, and violent crime. Various militant groups, including Al-Shabaab, operate with relative impunity, posing significant risks to foreigners. The absence of a central government and effective law enforcement further increases the dangers. The lack of basic services, including healthcare and emergency response, makes it extremely challenging to ensure safety in Somalia. As a result, UK citizens are strongly advised to avoid traveling to this perilous country. Country number 3, Central African Republic. The Central African Republic is another country where UK citizens are strongly advised not to travel. Ongoing armed conflicts, high levels of violent crime, and the threat of terrorism make it extremely dangerous. The absence of effective government control adds to the chaos. The UK Foreign Office advises against all travel to the Central African Republic due to the ongoing conflict and the high threat of violence. The presence of various armed groups and the lack of effective government control create a highly volatile environment. The high levels of violent crime, including kidnapping and armed robbery, pose significant risks to UK citizens. The absence of basic services, including healthcare and emergency response, further complicates any potential visit. As a result, UK citizens are strongly advised to avoid traveling to the Central African Republic. Country number 4, Afghanistan. Afghanistan remains a hotspot for conflict and terrorism, with the Taliban's resurgence heightening the dangers for foreign visitors. The risks of violence, kidnapping, and political instability make Afghanistan a place to avoid for UK citizens. The UK Foreign Office advises against all travel to Afghanistan due to the ongoing conflict and the high threat of terrorism. The Taliban's control over large parts of the country has increased the risks for foreign travelers, particularly those from Western countries. Kidnapping, including that of foreign nationals, is a significant threat. The volatile political situation and the presence of various militant groups further exacerbate the risks. The lack of infrastructure and basic services makes travel to Afghanistan highly dangerous. For these reasons, UK citizens are strongly advised to avoid Afghanistan. Country number 5, South Sudan. South Sudan, the world's youngest country, is plagued by civil war and ethnic violence. The UK advises against all travel due to the high risk of armed conflict, crime, and kidnapping. The lack of infrastructure and basic services further complicates any visit. The UK Foreign Office advises against all travel to South Sudan due to the ongoing conflict and the high threat of violence. The country's civil war has led to widespread destruction and a dire humanitarian situation, making it extremely dangerous for UK citizens. The lack of infrastructure and basic services, including healthcare and emergency response, further complicates any potential visit. The presence of various armed groups and the risk of ethnic violence make South Sudan a highly volatile destination. For these reasons, UK citizens are strongly advised to avoid traveling to this country. Country number 6. North Korea. Let's turn our attention to North Korea, one of the most secretive nations on Earth. This country has some of the strictest travel restrictions, making it nearly impossible for UK citizens to obtain a visa. Diplomatic relations between North Korea and the UK are virtually non-existent, leading to an almost total ban on travel. The primary concern for any foreigner, especially those from the UK, is the risk of arbitrary detention. North Korea has a history of detaining foreigners for minor or fabricated offences, using them as leverage in international negotiations. The lack of consular support further exacerbates the risk. If a UK citizen were detained, the British government would have limited means to assist. North Korea's closed society, rigorous surveillance, and strict control over all aspects of life mean that even a brief visit can be fraught with danger. The combination of these factors makes North Korea a no-go zone for British travellers. Country number 7. Libya. Next, we turn our attention to Libya, a country that has been in a state of turmoil since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. The ongoing conflict and instability have created a highly dangerous environment for UK citizens. The UK Foreign Office advises against all travel to Libya due to the persistent threat of violence and terrorism. Various armed groups control different parts of the country, leading to frequent clashes and a high risk of being caught in the crossfire. Kidnapping, both for political and criminal reasons, is a significant threat. Libya's lack of a functioning government means that basic services, including those critical for safety and security, are often unavailable. The absence of effective law enforcement and emergency services further increases the risks for any potential traveler. For these reasons, Libya is off limits for UK citizens. Country number 8. Iran. Iran, known for its rich history and culture, has become a challenging destination for UK citizens due to recent political tensions. While it might seem surprising, the threat of arbitrary detention and the lack of diplomatic relations pose significant risks. Political tensions between the UK and Iran have escalated in recent years, leading to increased scrutiny of foreign visitors, particularly those from Western countries. The UK government advises against all but essential travel to Iran due to the risk of arbitrary detention. Iranian authorities have detained UK citizens on charges of espionage and other serious offences, often without transparent legal proceedings. This lack of due process and the potential for long-term detention make Iran a risky destination. Additionally, the absence of a UK embassy in Iran means that consular support is minimal, further complicating any potential visit. Country number 9. Syria. Syria, once known for its rich cultural heritage and ancient cities, is now synonymous with war and destruction. The civil war that began in 2011 has devastated the country, making it one of the most dangerous places in the world for UK citizens. The UK government strongly advises against all travel to Syria due to the ongoing conflict, the high risk of violence, and the severe humanitarian crisis. Foreigners, particularly those from Western countries like the UK, are at significant risk of kidnapping by various armed groups, including extremist organizations. The conflict has also led to the collapse of infrastructure, making it extremely difficult to access basic necessities such as food, water, and medical care. For UK citizens, the lack of consular support in Syria means that any emergency would be incredibly challenging to address. Thus, Syria remains an incredibly risky destination. Country number 10. Yemen. Yemen's ongoing conflict has created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises for UK citizens. Travel here is highly discouraged due to the constant threat of terrorism, kidnapping, and armed conflict. The war in Yemen has led to widespread destruction and a dire humanitarian situation. The UK Foreign Office advises against all travel to Yemen due to the extreme risks posed by terrorism and armed conflict, the presence of multiple armed factions, including Houthi rebels and various militant groups, makes the situation extremely volatile. UK citizens face significant risks, including the possibility of kidnapping and violence. The humanitarian crisis has also resulted in severe shortages of food, water, and medical supplies, making it a highly dangerous environment. With limited consular assistance available, traveling to Yemen is extremely perilous for UK citizens.